Ms. Freeland, how come the IRGC is not a terrorist group? Why is your government supporting Islamo-Nazis? What? Excuse me. What are you doing?
You're under arrest for assault. Why are you pushing me? You're under arrest for assault.
Who are you?
You're under arrest for assault.
Police, you're under arrest for assault. How am I under arrest? You bumped into me. You pushed into me. I was just scrubbing. I got my credentials here and you just bumped into me. So excuse
Police, you're under arrest.
What is your name and your badge? What is your name and your badge?
You've been told you're under arrest?
Why am I under arrest?
Come on over here. We've got a couple officers.
He blocked my way. What? I was just scrumming Chrystia Freeland.
I'm a police officer. You're under arrest.
What is your name and your badge?
I'm assaulting a police officer.
How is that possible?
Okay, because
you assaulted me 3 years ago when blackface was back.
No, that was very aggressive what was happening.
You mean I was asking questions aggressively?
No, your actions were. You were almost pushing everybody over. That's how it appears.
Lincoln, you got this on video, right? He's saying I'm pushing people over?
Yeah,
that's an absolute falsehood.
There were feet were shuffling.
So now it appeared that way. That's what you're saying, officer? It appeared I was pushing people. I didn't touch a single person.
That was a little bit aggressive for what was happening. Get that. You're under arrest. Please take the microphone out of my face.
Well, I'd like an ongoing record of this.
Can I have the microphone? Can I have the microphone? Can I have the microphone? Can you give?
I'm not officer. Take your hand out. Why am I under arrest? I'm just doing my job.
Stop resisting. You don't need to resist.
I don't have.
You don't have to say anything. You know the drill.
I have nothing to hide, officer. Welcome to Black Faces Canada. This is what they do to journalists. I was merely scrumming Minister Freeland, and a RCMP officer blocked me, and evidently this is now a trumped-up charge of assault, folks. I didn't come here to cause any trouble. I came here to do my job, and now I'm handcuffed. This is your Canada now, folks. You know, this is the Gestapo taking blackface's orders.
First question, I was wondering, what do you make of your security detail arresting David Menzies?
So, I want to start with what was important about Monday. And what was important about Monday, January 8th, was that was the 4th anniversary of a date that I think forever needs to be marked and circled in black on the calendar of all Canadians. It was a tragedy for Canada. Canadians were criminally murdered, and I want to say to the families and loved ones of the people who were murdered that Canada remembers, Canada will not forget. And that's why I was in Richmond Hill, Marcy was there too, to show that this is a Canadian tragedy, that Canada remembers and Canada will not forget. On the incident, as you guys know very well, Canada is a rule of law country. Canada is a democracy. Operational decisions about law enforcement are taken by the police of jurisdiction. Quite appropriately, political elected officials have no role in the taking of those decisions.
Sure.
And that's why I don't have any further comment.
See how it went there. He's questioning this woman. Obviously, the people sent there to, protect her in whatever regard. One of the guys stands in the way as he's walking, gets bumped into, and then arrests him for assault. That's something else. We reached out to the York Regional Police and Chrystia Freeland's office for comment. We've gotten crickets back, but David Menzies joins us now, the Rebel News reporter that this happened to. And sir, it's good to have you on. I couldn't believe it when I saw the video because it was so clear. The guy just set, in the NBA, they set a pick. You stand right in the way of the guy. You ran into him. You weren't even looking because you're looking at her. And then he immediately tries to arrest you. He clearly wanted to do that.
Well, Mr. Schmidt, I couldn't have said it better than that description, that sports analogy you used. Indeed, I felt the RCMP officer before I even saw him. My focus was on Ms. Freeland. I was trying to ask her questions about how the IRGC is still not a recognized terrorist group in Canada. It is in the U.S. Donald Trump recognized it as such, and to his credit, I never thought I'd ever dream of giving Joe Biden credit, but he hasn't taken it off the list. Right. Yet in Canada, we go back 4 years ago, and that Ukrainian airline was shot down. 179 innocent civilians plus one unborn child. The left will never call that a homicide, but never mind. And yet 4 years later, still not recognized as a terrorist group. It was absolutely egregious. I think it's a very fair question. Yeah. And I think, Rob, it was a stitch-up. That officer was waiting in ambush, if you will. He initiated contact. The video clearly sees it. If you don't like me or think I'm a liar, fair enough. Just watch the video. Yeah. And the end result was me getting handcuffed, frog marched to a police car, and initially charged with assault, which was dropped within an hour.
Dropped within an hour tells you everything you need to know about it. You had a cop that clearly had a problem with you, clearly didn't like you, and set it up. But the fact that it was on camera, they knew they had to get. Once they saw it, they said, we got to drop this thing. It's pretty obvious.
I agree. I think, Rob, that the officer himself probably took a look at the video footage of some bystander, of which there were many filming this. There's several witnesses, or even the CCTV footage of the Richmond Hill Center for the Performing Arts, which was the venue for this, and said, yikes, this is bad. And, you know, for me, I'm sad to say, Rob, this was a feeling of deja vu. Back in December of 2021, I was on a public sidewalk with my cameraman, Lincoln Jay, same cameraman that filmed that footage. And we were waiting for Prime Minister Trudeau to come to a fundraising event. And my question was this. At the time, Trudeau had said to Canadians, please, please, please don't get together with friends and family at Christmas time. It's too much of a risk during COVID. Yeah. Yet he was having a fundraising dinner, $1,700 a plate, at a restaurant in which people, including the mainstream media, were packed in like sardines. Yep. And I was going to just ask him that question. Can you explain the double standard? I was anticipating, you know, that smile he gives, that smug smile, or just a wave. Instead, Rob, I didn't even know who they were because they weren't in uniforms. They didn't have badges. Yep. The Royal Canadian Mounted thugs jumped out of their SUVs, grabbed me, threw my head into a fence, and for no reason. I wasn't even under arrest for anything because there was no crime being committed.
They hate free press. They certainly hate any dissenting press.
I will never apologize for standing up for an LGBTQ2+ kids' rights